So Odell Beckham Jr. Caught a touchdown pass last night from Matthew Stafford. Third game in a row he has caught a touchdown pass in his new home in L.A. Interesting note, Beckham also tested positive for COVID-19, so he is in the protocol today, reports are out of L.A. But Jeff Saturday talked about what Odell's performance with Matthew Stafford as quarterback means for Baker Mayfield. This was from ESPN's Get Up.
The three primary quarterbacks that Odell has played with in his career were all the first pick in the draft. It was Eli Manning, it was Baker Mayfield, and it's Matt Stafford. And he had enormous success with Eli.
Sure.
He, so far so good with Stafford. It's a pretty limited sample size. What should we be extrapolating about Mayfield in particular from this?
It ain't good. Listen, this doesn't put your stock going in the right direction. If you're waiting on that contract and the Browns are watching, they're like, yeah, we got rid of this guy, and all of a sudden my numbers are still going down. And to everybody's point, everybody's making the same point. If you can't find the best guy and create plays with your best player or best receiver, you got issues. And for Baker Mayfield, you know, the jury's still out on whether he'll get a big contract in Cleveland, but it does not help when a guy goes somewhere else and shows up the way that Odell has showed up.
And Tim Bielik, I don't know that it's necessarily Baker. It might be the system, but there's a little bit of truth to that. We're still talking about separation and the Browns throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah, no question about it. And I've always been kind of leaning towards the idea that Baker and Odell were just incompatible because of how Baker wants his receivers to be. He wants them to be where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. And we know about Odell's tendency to freelance, to kind of create his own thing. And when that happens, you have, you know, a disconnect between the two of them. So it's not surprising that, you know, it doesn't work. And maybe Odell going to Los Angeles, playing with a quarterback in Matt Stafford, who's more experienced, who understands, you know, how to get receivers the football in certain situations. Maybe that's why he's succeeding there. Whereas Baker, who, let's not forget, you know, still dealing with 6 different injuries. I know he came off the bye week. I thought he looked pretty good against Baltimore outside of the interception. There's a lot still there with Baker, and I've said before, I don't think we're going to see the best of him this year. I just don't think it's going to be there until he has surgery. We all want to make one-year referendums on guys. We want to make referendums on guys based on, you know, every game, every year. And this is a year where I almost feel like you can't really do that with Baker just because he's barely been healthy for 3 halves of football. And obviously Odell going off and having success doesn't help him. But I do think, you know, if the Browns can find better receivers who are more compatible with his style of play, that are more tacticians with athletic ability, then I think he'll be fine. It was just a relationship on the field that just didn't work.